I did talk to a therapist one time, and he made this point about being like, he's like, you have the biggest tits in the room. He's like, you walk into any room and you have the...
When we think of a classic Drake track, we're reminded of a timeless hit that even earned 2 Grammy nominations. But what if I told you that this very song, yes, that one, led to Drake being slapped? Shocking, right? Enter Diddy, also known as Brother Love. Years back, when Diddy released this video, he portrayed himself as a driven, successful man, firmly in his element. But as time passed, that video took on a whole new, less flattering interpretation. Let's just say it hasn't aged well. The shift in perspective has been a revelation, one that Diddy probably didn't anticipate. Beyond the controversial allegations of abuse against a woman back in 2014, there's another shocking claim on the list. Drake himself was allegedly a target. Some headlines declared, "Diddy hits Drake." Others screamed, "Diddy punches Drake." The details may vary, but one thing is certain. Diddy laid hands on Drake. Yet, as expected, Brother Love denied the whole incident ever took place. What could have possibly driven Diddy to confront Drake in such a way? That remains a mystery, but one person who always seems to have the inside scoop is none other than 50 Cent. And, true to form, 50 didn't disappoint. He confirmed the rumors, adding fuel to the already blazing fire. Did Diddy hit Drake because he believed Drake swiped a hit right from under him? According to 50 Cent, Diddy wasn't exactly the hit-spotting visionary he once was back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And this shift in perception was at the heart of the beef between the two. Their feud traces all the way back to 2010. A time when, surprisingly, Drake and Diddy were actually on good terms. In 2010, Diddy featured Drake on Loving You No More, a track off his album Last Train to Paris. The relationship appeared amicable. In fact, Drake even invited Diddy and Ma Dollar E to perform at his 2013 OVO Fest. Reflecting on that night, Drake called performing with Diddy one of the highlights of his career, mentioning how much he looked up to the hip-hop mogul. It was clear that as a kid, Drake saw Diddy as a true role model, but things took a sharp turn just a year later. During a 2014 performance at Club Live in Miami, tensions boiled over. Drake, mid-performance, grabbed the microphone right out of Diddy's hand, leaving the self-proclaimed Brother Love grasping at thin air before he had to stoop and grab another mic. What makes the incident even more ironic? The song Drake was performing at the time was Worst Behavior. In that moment, it seemed he fully embodied the title of the track. Many believe the mic-snatching move wasn't intentional, more a spur-of-the-moment mishap that Drake only realized after it had already gone down. But by then, the damage was done, and the moment was etched into the timeline of their strained relationship. Many people trace the root of the beef between Drake and Diddy back to this very moment. It was the spark that ignited a much larger conflict, one that would escalate to physical confrontations in the months that followed, and at the center of it all, the beat for 0 to 100. It all started with producer Frank Dukes, who had previously collaborated with Diddy. Frank crafted the melody for the now iconic beat and sent it along to another producer, Boy One Da. Boy One Da happened to be in the studio with Diddy at the time and took that melody, piecing it together on the spot to create the beat we now recognize. At first, Boy One Da offered the beat to Diddy, but Brother Love initially passed, claiming he didn't want it. Things got messy when Diddy later changed his mind. He decided he did want the beat after all and passed it along to Drake, asking him to ghostwrite a track and add a verse. The plan was for Diddy to feature Drake on the song. Drake followed through, recording and sending the song back, but when Diddy heard it, he just wasn't feeling it. He ultimately decided not to use the track. This entire ordeal only reinforced 50 Cent's assertion that Diddy just doesn't have the same knack for picking hits in this generation as he did in the 90s. While Diddy may have once had an unrivaled ear for hits, this episode suggested that his instincts might no longer be as sharp as they once were. There's no denying it. Puff just couldn't recognize a hit. It's almost unbelievable. After Diddy turned down the track, Drake made the bold move to keep it. He uploaded 0 to 100 on SoundCloud, unsure of what to expect. But once it dropped, the song blew up, seemingly overnight. Fast forward, and 0 to 100 is now considered one of Drake's most iconic tracks. Released in July 2014, the song not only dominated the charts, but was widely hailed as one of the best tracks of the year by major publications. Certified platinum, it marked yet another high point in Drake's career. The track's flow even drew comparisons to Started from the Bottom, another Drake classic. Its massive success led to widespread use in commercials, and it became part of the NBA 2K16 soundtrack. The beat that Diddy passed on? It eventually even made its way to the 2014 BET Hip Hop Awards ciphers. In the end, 0 to 100 wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural phenomenon that proved Drake's instincts were spot on. It's no wonder Diddy felt a certain type of way about this whole fiasco. Adding insult to injury, 0 to 100 went on to be nominated for not one, but 2 Grammy Awards that same year, Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song. For Diddy, it was a public relations nightmare, a huge L he couldn't easily brush off. Even the producer Boy One Day later called the issue a misunderstanding, raising the question, was the track ever truly meant to be Diddy's record? Although Boy One Dog claimed the matter was resolved, Diddy's actions suggested otherwise. Just weeks later in July 2014, during one of his own performances, Diddy decided to play 0 to 100. But before the beat even dropped, he made a bold statement. He claimed the song was stolen from him. That intro alone was enough to let the world know how deeply this had cut. After that, things went quiet, until the two ran into each other once more at the same Miami club where Drake had snatched the mic months earlier. Both were there to celebrate DJ Khaled's 39th birthday party, and tensions were still simmering. Diddy reportedly attempted to address the situation with Drake, but Drake wasn't interested in having the conversation. Known for his sly demeanor, he simply brushed it off. As Drake was leaving the party, though, Diddy wasn't ready to let it slide. He confronted Drake right after the rapper had climbed into his car. According to witnesses, Drake stepped out of the car to talk, but things quickly escalated. The details remain unclear, but one thing is certain. Diddy struck Drake with such force that the calm, collected Six God went from 0 to red in a matter of seconds. It's said that after that slap, the entire atmosphere shifted, and the incident quickly made the rounds in industry circles. People were shocked. How could Diddy, a veteran in the game, resort to such a move against one of hip-hop's rising superstars? The moment symbolized a deeper rift, not just between two artists, but between the old guard and the new wave. It was no longer just about a beat or a song. It became about respect, power, and legacy. After that night, reports began to emerge, each with its own spin. Some claimed it was a simple misunderstanding that boiled over. Others painted it as a calculated move by Diddy to assert dominance. The slap was more than just a physical altercation. It became a metaphor for how the old-school hip-hop elite viewed Drake's meteoric rise. Diddy, once the uncontested leader of the bad boy era, was suddenly facing the reality of a new landscape where younger stars, unburdened by the rules of the 90s and early 2000s, were redefining how hip-hop's power dynamics were evolving. At the core was a larger, almost generational shift. The transition from Diddy's traditional mogul-driven approach to Drake's fluid internet-savvy empire building. What made this clash so fascinating wasn't just the physical confrontation, but the context around it. Diddy's brand was built on his larger-than-life persona. His contemporary hip-hop wasn't just navigating the industry, he was rewriting its rules. The slap also underscored how personal pride and artistic vision can collide in an industry that thrives on egos as much as it does on talent. For all his influence, Diddy's frustration over 0 to 100 wasn't simply about a single song, it symbolized a larger struggle. The rules of the game were changing. The platforms that once gave artists a clear path to stardom, radio play, record label backing, traditional promotions, were now just one part of a much more complex puzzle. The younger generation was proving that viral moments, direct fan engagement, and digital dominance could elevate an artist far beyond the boundaries of traditional industry gatekeeping. Drake's response to the situation was particularly telling. While the slap could have letting his success do the talking. Instead of getting drawn into a prolonged back and forth, Drake continued to release hit after hit, solidifying his position as one of the most consistent and influential artists of his time. By turning his focus toward the music and his audience, he managed to steer clear of a narrative that might have otherwise been defined by drama. This approach only widened the gap between Diddy and Drake. While Diddy remained a revered figure from an earlier era, Drake became a symbol of the present and future. The slap was no longer just an embarrassing moment for Diddy, it was a milestone that illustrated how the hip-hop world had moved on. What used to be an industry dominated by a handful of moguls now belonged to artists who could build their own empires with little more than a laptop, a microphone, and an internet connection. In the years following the incident, Diddy would continue to be celebrated for his pioneering work in the industry, his business ventures, and his undeniable impact on the culture. But the slap became a footnote in his legacy, a moment that reflected not only a personal clash, but also a changing of the guard. For Drake, it was one more testament to his resilience, his ability to thrive in the face of adversity, and his knack for turning even the most challenging situations into victories. Reports of what happened after the infamous altercation painted a dramatic picture. Following the alleged slap, a scuffle broke out, and some sources claimed that Drake even dislocated his shoulder during the confrontation. In fact, certain accounts went as far as to suggest that Drake required hospitalization and was seen in a wheelchair afterward. While Diddy publicly denied the entire incident, others weren't as dismissive. Both 50 Cent and Charlemagne the God confirmed that the altercation had indeed taken place. Drake, however, remained characteristically composed. Rather than seek direct revenge, it appeared others were willing to intervene on his behalf. Notably, Jay Prince, a powerful and well-connected figure in the industry, stepped in. Jay Prince, who considers Drake part of his family, issued a warning to Diddy, urging him to steer clear of the young Toronto artist. The involvement of someone with Jay Prince's reputation underscored just how serious the fallout had become. It wasn't until about a year later that Drake finally broke his silence on the matter, though not in a direct confrontation. Instead, he channeled his feelings into music, delivering thinly veiled jabs at Diddy in his song 4 p.m. in Calabasas. Lines like, "Even had the OGs trying to press me," were widely interpreted as a reference to the incident, with the OGs clearly pointing to Diddy, a long-standing industry veteran. The track's lyrics were peppered with additional nods to Diddy's career. The phrase "no way out 'cause I'm already in it" seemed to echo the title of Diddy's debut album, No Way Out. Another line, take that," famously associated with Diddy's ad-libs, was seen as another subtle dig. While Drake's response was far from an outright declaration of war, it was clear that the situation had left a mark. His use of clever wordplay and subtle references allowed him to address the incident on his own terms without reigniting the public feud. Also reinforced his reputation for turning life's challenges into chart-topping hits. Drake's lyrical references didn't stop with just a few pointed jabs. In 4 p.m. in Calabasas, he went on to liken Diddy to Leonardo DiCaprio, drawing a parallel between the actor's ability to slip into roles and Diddy's supposed dodging of the truth during a now infamous Breakfast Club interview. When Drake quipped, "Drake, will you stop smoking, la la?" it was another playful nod, connecting Diddy back to his own song Can't Hold Me Down with Ma Dollar E. On the track's outro, Drake layered on the shade by using Diddy's signature phrase, "Can't stop, won't stop," and referencing yet another line from Diddy's catalog, "I'ma make you dance to this." The effect was subtle, yet undeniable. Drake had taken Diddy's own words and flipped them into a clever reminder of their rocky history. Fast forward to today, and it seems the tension has largely cooled. Both Diddy and Drake appear to have moved on from the altercation, their public interactions becoming more cordial in recent years. The beef that once made headlines seems to have simmered down, but as fans of hip-hop know, past conflicts can always resurface. In this culture, old rivalries have a way of re-emerging when you least expect it. For now, though, it seems that peace, however tenuous, has been restored. As time has passed, the drama between Diddy and Drake has become more of a distant memory than a present-day feud. Both artists have continued to focus on their careers, with Diddy remaining a staple in the industry's entrepreneurial and cultural landscapes, and Drake further cementing his position as one of the most successful and influential figures in modern music. In many ways, what once seemed like a major falling out has been absorbed into the larger story of hip-hop's constant evolution. For Diddy, the entire episode served as a reminder that the world of rap is no longer exclusively driven by the rules of the past. The new generation, led by artists like Drake, operates on a different wavelength, one that embraces digital platforms, unexpected collaborations, and an ever-present connection with fans through social media. Diddy's legacy remains strong, but the events surrounding 0 to 100 and the alleged confrontation were a humbling moment. They showed that even the most seasoned veterans aren't immune to the shifting dynamics of the music industry. As for Drake, his response to the situation only further solidified his reputation as an artist who knows how to keep his cool under pressure. Rather than allowing the incident to overshadow his career, he turned it into another stepping stone. By addressing the situation on his terms, through music and subtle references, he maintained his image as a calculated, unbothered artist who doesn't let industry politics disrupt his momentum. This approach not only allowed him to maintain his status as a top-tier performer, but also endeared him to fans who appreciated his ability to rise above the noise. While there haven't been any recent public clashes or tense moments between the two, the story still lingers in the minds of hip-hop fans. It's often brought up as an example of how even the most powerful figures can find themselves in unexpected conflicts, and how those conflicts can be resolved, or at least set aside, with time. For now, it appears the beef is behind them, but in a genre that thrives on competition and storytelling, the past is never completely forgotten. Fast forward to today, and the once contentious relationship between Diddy and Drake seems to have mellowed out. Both artists have continued to thrive in their respective lanes, largely putting the past behind them. While they haven't collaborated on any major projects since their highly publicized falling out, their public interactions have become more civil, even occasionally friendly. In many ways, the incident that once dominated headlines has faded into the backdrop of their legendary careers. This chapter serves as a reminder of how quickly things can change in the music industry. What was once a heated feud has now become just another story in the tapestry of hip-hop history. Diddy remains a mogul, expanding his empire and staying connected to the culture in his own way. Drake, meanwhile, has only grown in stature, consistently breaking records and setting new standards for what it means to be a global superstar in the streaming era. Though fans still revisit the details of their conflict from time to time, relishing the drama, the bars, and the industry gossip, both Diddy and Drake have moved forward. Their brief beef may never be fully forgotten, but it's no longer a defining moment. Instead, it stands as a testament to how two titans of the industry can clash, find their footing, and ultimately carry on, continuing to shape the landscape of music for years to come. Looking back now, the Diddy-Drake drama feels less like a defining career moment and more like a snapshot of the ever-changing dynamics in hip-hop. Both artists have weathered bigger storms and emerged stronger, more seasoned, and more focused on the legacies they want to leave behind. What started as a disagreement over a beat evolved into something more, a reminder of the tensions that can arise when two powerful figures meet at a crossroads of generational influence. Today, the situation between Diddy and Drake appears calm, with both men choosing to let their achievements do the talking. They've continued to push the boundaries of what's possible in music and business, with Diddy solidifying his status as a cultural entrepreneur, and Drake repeatedly topping charts and just continues to evolve, one beat at a time.